DIY.
Lay your eyes on this. This is a post that was provided by United Masters. Vinyl has officially surpassed CD in sales for the first time since 1987 this year. 2022 marked the 19th consecutive year of growth in vinyl, with 41 million albums sold compared to just 33 million CDs sold. Let me get this straight. Vinyls outsold CDs in 2022 by a clear margin of 8 million. Now, there's some factors that we definitely got to factor in. I guess one of them would be who sells CDs anymore, because obviously Best Buy just got rid of CDs all entirely. Places like Target, they sell vinyl players. I don't always see CDs there. I see DVDs, but I definitely see the vinyl players, the vinyls for like major records. It'll be like for Adele. But isn't that interesting? It's a little bit surprising. While streaming is still obviously the biggest driving force of profit in music, with 84% of recorded music revenue, physical music formats have seen a higher resurgence in the last couple of years. What happened in the last couple of years that could create a resurgence and appreciation for physical experiences? Was it the Lakers winning the finals? Nah, that wasn't it. Was it the pandemic? Yeah. Probably. When you sit human beings at home and you say, sit your ass in the house and don't you leave unless you got a mask on, and they hyper consume their phones to the point where they're mentally and emotionally fatigued and drained. And then they watch documentaries on Netflix that show them how social media is deteriorating their brain. You start to get into things that are more physical. You know what's ironic? Of all the different things that have advanced in technology, you know an item I never see that stops getting sold? Puzzles. Go to your local Walmart, go to your local Target, guarantee you'll find a puzzle. Guess what else? Board games, card games. It may not always necessarily be Monopoly, but damn it, you got Cards Against Humanity. Why? Because these are experiences that you can't download. These are experiences that you cannot create digitally. Yes, they have apps for things like these games, but they're not the same as sitting around a group of friends or family and moving your little Monopoly thumbtack or your Monopoly car, I like the car, across boardwalk and looking at your wife and saying, yeah, you owe me $1,000. I'll take hotels instead. There's nothing that beats that. Yes, we got Bluetooth speakers. Yes, we got the best of sounds we ever had. We got headphones that have bass that you usually would hear reserved for studio monitors or for cars. But so what? Human beings are hilarious. No matter how much we demand advancements in technology, we always want to go back somehow, some way. Vinyl is part of that experience now. For my birthday last year, my mom and my sister could have bought me a million things. And they know I can afford to buy whatever I want to get. They got me this. It's a vinyl player. When I tell you something about the crackles, something about the richness of the music, even coming out of those speakers, the physical process of having to flip the vinyl over to listen to my favorite beats. I got a vinyl from the homie Nameless Chips. I got a J Dilla vinyl over here for Donuts. I got a Sade, Best of Sade vinyl. And then I got Purple Rain, which is another one they bought. Something about that felt like, damn, this is something I can't access through YouTube. I can only have this in this moment. I don't know what you call that. Maybe it's nostalgia. Next slide. Vinyl revenue grew 17% in 2022 and topped over $1.2 billion in sales, making up 75% of the revenue brought in by physical music, 75%. CD revenue fell by 18%, bringing in $483 million. There's a few factors for why the CDs may drop off. I said one of them may be the fact that not as many stores offer CDs. There's not a music warehouse like there used to be. A lot of vehicles, newer vehicles, don't even have the CD inserts within them. So that makes sense. But I do think that vinyls are now a lot easier for us to have access to as independents and DIYers. There's companies that are press 10 of them up for $300 that you can just make an order, put your music on there, and it's a lot easier to do the process, put your artwork on them. So there's accessibility that probably wasn't as easy to have unless you were part of some kind of independent label or some kind of major label entity with some bread, because they are for sure expensive. Experts are citing a spike in demand of vinyl to the pandemic driven largely by younger consumers, and vinyl has now become a major part of artists' marketing campaigns. It's something different about vinyl. I don't have any CDs hanging up in this house, but I got vinyls. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 vinyls on the walls. One, physically, they're big enough to look like pieces of art. Secondly, they are literally pieces of art. I'm looking at this J Dilla Donuts album. That is a piece of art that when somebody walks in, they say, huh, I know you was a Jay Dilla fan. Or, I wonder what that sounds like. It gives you a certain amount of warmness that small plastic, hard to open up the plastic CD spindle, CD yard. It don't give you the same experience. And I think a lot of artists independently to save money have even cheapened that to where they're not even doing the traditional jewel case. They're doing like paper inserts. So now it's like, you might as well be a damn coaster. Artists like Adele and Taylor Swift generated a massive demand for vinyl, causing many independent manufacturers to struggle to meet demand. Because of this, some artists were forced to push back their releases, and other small artists were unable to get records pressed altogether. There's a demand because there's accessibility that probably wasn't there before. I know that wasn't there before. If I love an album enough, I'm going to get the vinyl if I see it. Like, I want a copy of every Kendrick album on vinyl. That's what I want to get. If I never play it, I'm okay with that. Because to me, when I look at a piece of artwork, it reminds me of a place that I was at in life. It's almost like a photo in a photo album. I look at that album and I get a certain smell, right? A smell of a car. I get a certain smell of a cologne that I was wearing, a certain food, a certain house that I used to live in at that point in time. I start thinking about like what I was working on. I start thinking about just all these different things that are associated with the physical version of it. So I would love to have that in the house. Interesting times we're living in. What is it going to take for some people to see the signs and the writing on the wall? Everything is heading towards independence. Everything is heading towards independence. Independence of thought, independence of creativity, independence on how do you use your AI? What kind of prompts do you use? Customization and independence is creating some moments that we've never had before. And when I see things that have always been like a part of the foundation of the culture, that give you nostalgia when you think about the culture and just music in general, like vinyl spiking up over CDs, and it's younger folks who are doing that. I believe that we're in a time now, younger consumers have more power than they've had before, and they're aware of that power. That's dangerous to a lot of people. It's dangerous to us all at some point because some people don't know what to do with that power. And who would when you're 16, 17? Now what we're going to be exposed to are ideas that you and I had when we were 16, 17, but we didn't have the resources or the people willing to listen to us talk about them. Now these kids can draw these ideas out. Now they can have AI sketch out these ideas of how they want to see the design of a new shoe, how they would like to see a classroom be designed so that it would get the most enjoyable experience out of them for learning. Now we're gonna be able to just redesign our lives to fit parts of us that we've just have given up on even thinking about because we just have concluded that that is just life. I'm very, very encouraged to see that because I want to put vinyl out. I will put vinyl out for DIY too. The writings on the wall, DIYers, everything around us is showing us that the quicker you embrace independence and utilize the tools, the quicker you will get to the people who want to invest in those tools. And what they're willing to invest sometimes will be a lot more than you thought anybody would ever want to buy. A lot more than you think anybody would ever want to purchase your products for. You just have to make them available. DIY. DIYers, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you hit the like button and maybe even consider subscribing. Come on, man. Stop being greedy. Peace.